All right, everyone. This is going to be one of the most fascinating Alovéa Pro podcasts that we've done because I'm hanging out here. Okay, hold on. Ziggidy.
Zvigidiz
Close?
Chenman. Yeah, pretty close to Zvigidiz Chenman, but you can call me Z. It'll work
I can
fine.
call you Z. And we talked about it. It's not Z, it's Z.
Definitely Z.
Excellent. Well, I am so honored to be hanging out with you today. You are an Alovéa Pro, but I'm sitting here in North America during the day before dinner time. You're in a different part of the world and it's much later, and you jumped into this podcast. Where are you right now? What time is it?
So first of all, yeah, I'm in Israel. It's 11 p.m. and I'm also honored to be here. So for me, it's a privilege and it's a great thing to be with you here. So yeah.
Wonderful. Well, let's talk about what you do and how you became a sponsored pro with Alovéa, because you are the first in our company with this. I think so much to the point when I was introduced to you via messaging and communication, I was like, wait a second, what does he do? And by the way, just yesterday, I did a podcast with a guy who just finished his 110th marathon. So we have some pretty wild stories. Z, I love what you are an ice swimmer.
Indeed, I am an ice swimmer. Yep, that's
So
it.
tell us about what is this sport? How do you do it? And I think the biggest question everyone's asking right now is like, wait, how did you get into it? Because this is your uniform too,
Yep.
right?
Yes, this is the shirt for our team.
So how did you get into this? Explain the sport to us.
So I'm always into sports. I was always into sports, and growing up, I was always I loved swimming. Always wet. I used to go to the sea to swim.
Mm,
I also learned in a naval academy, so it was pretty basic there. Some of the tests included swimming or sailing and swimming, etc. So I was always in that thing, and then I started doing what I do as a professional, and within it came the ice baths, which maybe you've heard about before, right?
sure,
And
yeah,
then it
because I
kind of
think a lot of people have heard of the ice bath, right?
Exactly. And then it kind of clicked. It was just a perfect match together. So, once I heard about it, it was like, how come I didn't do that before? I mean, it's such a natural thing to do, right? And then the rest is history, right?
So explain to us how the competitions work.
So basically, the thing is that if you've saw a swimming competition, so there's a pool and everything, etc. So in this case, it's exactly the same, but we have special occasions around the world where we know the pools will get to a very, very low temperature, right? We're talking about below 1 Celsius usually, right? So that's that. So we know where the places are. We have, we're kind of doing round trips all the time: Romania, Italy, all those kind of things, right? Italy, Romania, etc. So we know where we're going. And then it's pretty much like the usual swing, but you have to only push from the wall and you have to get into the water. You can't jump in if you know the
Mm,
sport. So it's like it goes like take off your clothes, get
mhm.
into the water on your marks, whistle, and then you go. Yep, that's how it works.
And is this indoor, outdoor? Give people like, are you guys doing this in a big pond or in the ocean or lake, or is this all indoor? How are the races set up?
So we're talking about races, right? So it's outdoors, right? The whole point is that we always hope, right? Like we've been in Molveno twice, and the first time it was kind of a good weather, right? We had sun, and then we kind of laughed. Next time you've got to arrange snow. So this year there was snow, so you can imagine an open pool, snow piling up, and swimmers within. This was you open your mouth, but it's a wonderful thing for us. It's a great experience. I mean, that's the best thing that could happen. Rain and snow while you're doing it, it's great because things that are not competitions are indeed in the ocean.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah.
is fascinating. I feel like people who are watching this podcast right now, you need to post right now a comment on, are you in? Are you joining the ice swimming world or not? Because I think you are right. A lot of people know about, there's the famous, I don't know if it's a thing in Israel, but the polar plunge. Have you heard of that terminology before?
The polar plunge, not exactly, but
Yeah. So here we do a polar plunge. I'm from Canada. I live in the United States, and but we do a polar plunge. But you do it on like January 1st. You run into the water once, and then you run back out just as fast, and that's it. There. It's the quick polar plunge, or it's like from a health perspective, doing the cold plunges. So it's kind of a fun way of doing that. But you're staying in the water. How long are the races? What's the distance?
so that depends, but it could go up to a mile. Call it an ice mile. Yeah. For the toughest cookies, we'll say it that way, right?
It's cookies. You call it the ice mile. That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
so
And
good.
if you really want to, that's already not in pools. You can do an extreme ice mile where you go to places where the water is below zero, right?
Geez, yeah.
So yeah, so that's the extreme ice mile. But usually you'd go to that point, and it differs. You have those that do 250 meters, 500 meters, a kilometer. You have
Well, my wife was a big swimmer at one time, had one of the best times in the world. She still has Canadian records that have never been broken. So I'm going to try to convince her to join your team and join ice swimming. I think this is so cool, and this is look part of with Alovéa Pros. We have pros from so many different sports and backgrounds. We're now doing a lot in the sport of paddle, which is kind of like pickleball, but it's much bigger in Europe. You know, paddle probably, and but ice swimming. I think this is great. We're going to bring this world that you're involved with to the world. But you were introduced to us because you are an athlete, you're competing, you were sponsored with Alovéa as being an Alovéa Pro. How did you find out about Alovéa?
Well, basically, one part of my life is being an athlete, and the other part of my life is being the owner of an institution that does brain training, right? So I train. I both work I both compete and I train athletes mainly, right? Athletes, some artists as well, but that's the thing. And I'm always on the look for things that could be interesting. And then I found Shirley. She was the one who introduced me. And the moment I saw that she talked about the fuel and about the revive, and I said, okay, that's what I need before, during, and after training. I mean, this is exactly what I need, right? So I was very excited. I jumped right in. And I don't know if I'm taking it a bit forward, but we used fuel, right, while training and while competing. And it was
Nice.
wonderful. We could feel it.
Well, tell me a little bit more about the professional side of what you're doing. So give me an example, like what are you doing with patients, clients? How do you refer to them? What is the work that you're trying to do with those folks?
So these are trainees as far as I'm concerned, right?
Training.
You could say patient, but trainees because basically they come in to train. So they have their mental trainer, right? And they have their physical trainer, right? The coach. And then they have the brain training, which is what we do. We actually put a cap on their heads, measure their brain activity. And because peak performance is something that we know how to measure and how to enhance, so you do need to be a professional. If you're not an athlete and you come to do peak performance, you probably won't be a better athlete because of that. You first need to have a really solid ground as an athlete, being several years in a specific sport, doing a specific thing, right? And then we can take that, see how it comes to life in your brain, and teach
Mm,
you how to do it better, more efficiently, right? So it passes the conscious mind, goes straight to your brain.
that
Yeah.
is, I'm blown away right now because I grew up as a training athlete in tennis, a nationally ranked player, and so anybody's been through that process. If you're listening and as a coach or a trainer or athlete, you do know that you can push your body, the nutrition of your body, but there's this the brain is everything. And so, but that shows the advancement of where we're going because I don't recall ever hearing that people were focusing on this type of training. So, how does Fuel or Alovéa fit in with what else you're doing with your trainees? How do you believe it's going to help them moving forward?
So, we had the part of the brain and we always have nutrition on it, right? And, people, maybe you even tried some of this, probably heard about it, right? People do the shakes, right? And they're looking what's the right shake with a duration. Is it instant? Does it take time? All those kind of things. And when I was looking on things, supplements, vitamins, right? Minerals, magnesium, all those kind of things, right? So I was always looking for something that would be easily absorbed, right? And very efficient, right? Because you don't want to have too powerful boosts when you're talking about ice specifically, right? Having it too much could be very even dangerous to the point of dangerous. Okay, we have people just combine those two together, right? So you've got the part where when you're swimming, there are actually firefighters around the pool, okay, because people do pass out sometimes,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
one
kind
of
of
the
makes sense.
reasons, yeah, so one of the reasons that they're too much, they're too high, so they push very strong, but the ice, you can't beat the ice. You have to, even the founder, he always tells you, if you're afraid of the ice, if you're trying to fight the ice, you will lose. You have to make love and you have to enjoy the ice. That's the only way you can do that, right? And Alovéa Pros is exactly that. It's not a pumping up thing and it's not too weak. It has that sweet spot that gives you
Mm,
the energy you need to actually be in love and flow with the ice. And
I think
that's
you
what
need to
we're
join our marketing team. Like what you just said was so beautiful. Like that was so incredible. Well, that's, and I think there's also something too, because of course, Alovéa is kind of we're famous for that core ingredient, right? Our ace mannan, our Alovéa AE, which is priority to us. And it's all about your immune system. So I can imagine for your world that you're working in or that you're competing in, your immune system must be compromised, and then and so to be able to strengthen that immune system and support it must be a big benefit to your world as well.
Definitely, definitely no, because there are various ways to approach the ice, but you can't escape the fact that there is quite some time when you're naked, but not in the ice and not moving, right? Kind of naked, right? You only have your bathing suit on, you have the hat, right? Goggles are up, and you're exposed. Like I said, right? Snow, wind, rain. Though the pool would be one, outside would be -2, -3, something like that. So if you're not strengthened, and if your immune system is easily wavered, right? It can be here and there. You'd probably be sick after the first swim
For
with
our
severe.
American friends listening, and they're thinking -1 and -2, he is talking Celsius, which is
Yeah,
still
yeah, yeah. It's not
incredibly
Fahrenheit.
cold. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I notice that being Canadian, whenever I talk temperatures, I always like, oh wait, that's Celsius. Just so you know, there's a difference between the two. But
Yeah.
please tell me, you said there's firefighters, there's people around, there's a first responders there. Is there a nice sauna somewhere? Is there something warm, a hot tub? Please tell me there's something close by.
Yes, yes, indeed, there
Good.
is. Definitely, definitely. We even have some photos on it. It's kind of a thing, you know. So you go out, you go. It depends how long you swim, right? Because if you swim, I know it's going to be, it's going to sound a bit weird, but you know, for 250 meters, you don't really need the sauna. Just jump around a bit and you're fine, right? But for a kilometer, you probably need, right? Because a kilometer probably will take you something like between 18 to 22, 23 minutes, right? So your body becomes really cold, and then you need to warm up, and you can't even go directly to the sauna. First, it's blankets and shivering, and after some time, like 5, 6, 10 minutes,
Then
you
you can go
you
in.
can transit to the
Wow.
sauna. But then
This
it's
is
really, really fun.
it's the you're blowing my mind. I mean, it's the coolest thing. I mean, we have a friend of ours that did the Iditarod on foot, which is the longest Alaskan foot race in the world, 1,000 miles. I thought that was wild. I mean, this is really fascinating. And with this concept of being with Alovéa. By the way, I want to share a quick side note. I don't know if you know, we just launched a hot cocoa with Ace Mannan in North America. It's coming to Israel. So how great! I think that would be great for your community as
Yeah,
we get
I'm
out
waiting.
hot cocoa. Yeah, exactly. Well, tell me about what your feeling is being an Alovéa Pro, because you could have just become a customer, right? You could have just said, I like this. I like this product. Thank you, Shirley, for introducing it to me. I'm gonna use fuel. But you decided to put your reputation, your name. You own this company. You're in this sporting world. You've got this super cool energy about you. Why did you decide to put your name attached to the brand and being sponsored? Because that's different, right? So you applied to be sponsored. You got approved. Companies like, we love you. You decided to like the company. What was it that said, I'm willing to put my name attached to this company?
Well, first thing first, I immediately recognized the quality and the things that you could provide to the people I work with, right? To bring it into my world, not just to me, right? So that's one thing. And the another thing, I hope I'm not too early on it, but when it comes to that point, so talking about bringing things to the world, so there is
Mm,
the buy one, match one, right? The Hope program. So when I heard that, it was like, okay, this is like probably the best thing ever. I mean, I've seen things, I've seen aloe vera in all kind of other ways, and I've been in companies that do things that are kind of the same or in the zone, we'll say that, but something as exciting and as giving as the Hope
mm,
program. I mean, that like blew my mind, right? And I said, okay, this is something I can't not share that with my world and use it. It's beneficial for us, it's beneficial for the world, it's giving and receiving. I mean, if
love
that
it.
doesn't leave you speechless and in awe, what does, right?
Well, that's so great because and you find often for those watching this for the first time, Alivea is being a social business, meaning that they are a public benefits corporation out of Texas where they can basically give their profits away for a cause. And their cause, of course, is with children. 7 million kids die every year of malnutrition. A lot of times it's not because of starvation, it's because of the adverse reactions to illnesses, because of their immune system so compromised. So that same ingredient, that Alovéa AEA's mannan, that's in all of in that fuel right beside you and the products that you and I take every day, that same product's being donated to children around the world. We just surpassed 65 million servings. And there's something about like your trainees, like when you have that heart of giving, like I don't think you could do what you do with teaching, the people that you're working with their brain. Like has it always had a passion of you to want to help others? Because you just seem to be that type of energy.
Well, basically, yes, you caught me. But people always talk about, because when I was in school, etc. So everybody was thinking he's going to be a genius, going to create a startup. He was teaching the teachers how to code, all those kind of things. But very quickly, actually, maybe it's a good point to share. I don't know. You'll tell me, because I was all in, right? Because no money, high tech, etc. All those shiny things, right? And titles. But then there came a point where I talked to a person. I was still a teenager, right? But this younger adolescent came to me, wanted some advice. How am I so happy in the place we were? Right? It was tough and everything. So I gave him some advice. 2 years later, right? An accidental meeting, and he comes to me, just so you know, I'm so happy we have this chance. The day I came to you, I was thinking of committing suicide, and you made me see the world as a beautiful place. And if I had any doubts till this point about what I'm supposed to do, that set me straight. You can always have fun with code, but you're going to work with people and you're going to help them out. That's what you're going to do. And that ship was sailed from that moment on. So that's the reason.
Such a powerful, beautiful story. And there's something when you're making an impact. I mean, that's the most dramatic one, where you can save someone's life. But there's that component too, where you're just, somebody's got a health issue and you give them an option of something, or knowing that because we're sharing what we're doing with Alovéa, these products are going to children around the world, which we may never meet them, but the company tracks your ripple, how many donations have been shared because of your own consumption, because of, as you have customers and grow this. And it's like, wow, we're actually making a difference, and which is very exciting. Well, man, oh man, I have one more question for you, because I can't let you go without this, because your energy has been amazing. It's been so much fun. And I want everybody to Google ice swimming and check out what Z is doing here, because it's so cool. But tell us about that necklace, because you have definitely come to all of our podcasts. You are the necklace champion at the moment. Is there a story behind this necklace?
Obviously, there is a story, though it kind of begs the question, I believe. But this goes back to my philosophy, the way of life, because I was born in a very religious space, and eventually I changed completely, and I found a way of life that brings joy for me, for my family, for my surroundings. And this represents that way of life. That's part of why I'm Zvigidiz. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Do you wear that for special occasions, or is that like who you are? You show up every day with that to remind people?
Every day. I mean, to the extent, right, where now I have this haircut and this beard, right? But there were times when I had totally different look, right? People would not recognize me after I took my hair off or stuff like that if I didn't have the necklace. I think it actually happened in the pool once, that people came right by me because I took off I shed my beard, I shed my head. I was like bald, right? And they didn't recognize me. Then I put on the necklace, and they, oh, you were here all the time? Like so that cool. Crazy. So yeah, it's kind of my icon, mascot, I don't know, thing.
No, it's so beautiful. Well, no, it is. It's kind of like there's this identity, right? I put meanings to each one of these and the intentions in my life, and it feels like you've really done the same thing. But see, I mean, I'll tell you, this was so much fun hanging out with you. It's such an honor. I would love to do a follow-up podcast. We are launching a new sports-driven product. So we got the fuel, which is amazing. We're developing a new electrolyte product that is going to be very advanced. So we'll definitely get you samples. And after the next race, can we do a follow-up podcast sometime?
Of course, I'd love to, and I'd love to try that. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful, just like this one, and everything. So, and, being with you, privilege. I'll do it anytime.
Well, thank you very much. It was a lot of fun today. And I'm going to let you finish off because I'll mess it up again. Pronounce your whole name again.
Zvigidiz Chenman.
I'm going to learn how to say that for our next podcast. Z, it was such an honor. Thank you very much. And for everybody else, stay tuned for our next Alovéa podcast. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.